we have security analyst Chester Cabalza. He is, of course, the founding president of the International Development and Security Cooperation, or IDSC. Good evening, Chester. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Good evening, Ms. Regina, Ms. Sean, and Ms. Weston.
Chester, let's start with that text blast, no? The text message going around saying that there's anger and frustration within the AFP over the June 17 incident and calling directly on President Marcos to replace Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro. I know you speak with you have a lot of sources within the military, within the diplomatic circles. What have you heard? And is there really unhappiness in the AFP ranks?
Well, it's the start of the campaign season now. I mean, although it's not official, but this coming midterm election, I think this is a political season for the Philippines. And given the scenario that, of course, we know what happened in the 17 incident, and there are some cabinet members who are perceived to be future candidates for the midterm elections. So they're throwing these stories against them. And I think this is not new because even myself, I've been receiving some misinformation about my organization and about myself. And even, most especially, public officials. They are prone to these kinds of attacks. So this part of this information campaign against our government officials are actually, we may call it normal, because of the political system right now.
So in short, you're saying we can chalk this up to politics. This is purely politically motivated, in your opinion?
Yes, definitely. Because, of course, prior to the appointment of Secretary Teodoro, I know that there were some rumors stating that he will be vying for a Senate position. But of course, these are just rumors, and until such a time there is an official announcement coming from him. But nonetheless, of course, remember that the position of the Secretary of National Defense is one of the juicy positions in the Philippine government. So definitely, given the level of incident that happened in the June 17, I think he will be exposed to such a criticism, basically.
Chester, taking a look at decision makers when it comes to the West Philippine Sea, there is, of course, the Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro. There is a national task force on the West Philippine Sea. Can you enlighten us who actually makes the decisions here?
Basically, when you talk about the national task force on the WPS, well, of course, the defense and security sector are at the help of that. Definitely, National Security Council, together with the Department of National Defense. But of course, since the Philippine president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Philippines, nonetheless, of course, he is the one responsible for appointing such members of the national task force. But of course, you have also the hierarchy in the government. And we would see that relevant agencies from the defense and security sector are the ones responsible for the formation of the WPS.
And as far as you know, are all these agencies, NTF, WPS, National Maritime Council, Defense Department, are they all aligned and working harmoniously?
That is something that we have to work really hard in our government, because as I've been observing, there is still the silo norm in our government, especially that these are critical information, intelligence gathering, and of course sharing are still some of the things that we really have to perfect as a government, and as particularly in the defense and security sector, because these are very critical in a way. So I think hopefully there is a very good mechanism on how these members of the agencies of the government will work on this mechanism. basically.
Okay, well, speaking of that, just to add to Regina's question, can you clarify for us, Chester, who takes precedence here? Is it the National Maritime Council or the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea? Or at some point, do they overlap?
Okay. Originally, you have the National Coast Watch Agency, and then it was renamed to National Maritime Center.
Right.
And based from the composition of the NMC, you have members of the defense security sector that includes the National Security Council, and of course the Philippine Coast Guard, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Department of National Defense. And of course, everything that they discuss there, because it's a council, it's an primus organization, definitely they reported everything to the president. I think they have also invited some other credible organizations, like, of course, included there would be the UP Maritime Office, and then some other credible organizations from the private sector.
Right.
So, in other words, you see there the composition of the top rank defense and security sector.